Hey, it's Isla, and you are listening to Not That Kind of CEO. And this is the intro to the intro of this episode. Because, if you keep on listening, you'll hear that I actually recorded this episode a while back when my podcast was still called the Female Entrepreneurs Network Podcast. And I was, you'll hear it. I was already planning this name change. So if you are clicking on Not That Kind of CEO and hearing the Female Entrepreneurs Network podcast, that's correct. We did a name change. Without further ado, let's play that episode. Hey, it's Isla, and you are listening to the Female Entrepreneurs Network podcast. And I would like to know, what if the most productive thing you could do today was absolutely nothing? No goals, no growth, no content creation, just joy. In this episode, we're diving into why fun, the kind of fun that has zero, absolutely nothing, nada purpose. It might be the most healing thing that you can do for your nervous system and eventually for your business. So if you've been stuck in go mode, always optimizing, always doing, going, this one is for you. Let's break the loop, okay? Enjoy today's episode. Hi, I'm Ayla, and for over a decade, I've been dedicated to helping entrepreneurs thrive. Welcome to the Female Entrepreneurs Network podcast. Here, we focus on personal growth so your business can grow alongside you. Discover how to optimize your business, elevate your mindset, and truly feel and act like a CEO. This is more than just business. It's about transforming your entire entrepreneurial journey. Join me on this path to unlock your fullest potential. Hello, my lovely ladies. Welcome back to the Female Entrepreneurs Network podcast, of which I am seriously thinking to rename it because I can't. It's so long. But it is what it is. And I cannot think of a catchy name, so it's just the Female Entrepreneurs Network podcast for now. Last week, I went horseback riding for the first time in like 20 years. I did it all of my youth, from 6 till 18, I think, 6 to 16. I don't know. I did it for a long time. And at the end of it, I even went 4 times a week. So yeah, there was a lot of horseback riding in my past. And once a pony girl, always a pony girl. Here I am at 38, and I definitely pushed my kid into going horseback riding. She's 5 now and she started lessons, and she became a pony girl. And seeing her being obsessed over everything horse made me obsess over everything horse again. And I was like, I need to get back into the saddle, literally. And so last week I had my first horseback riding lesson in 20 years, and it was such fun. It's almost a week later. I'm still sore. I'm taking it as a trooper because it was such fun. And later on, I was reflecting on it, and I was telling my husband, you should find a hobby like that as well. Something that you're doing just for you, just for the sake of fun. Because I realized that's why it was such fun. It was just for me. It wasn't productive or useful. It was just fun without any value hanging off of that fun. Just for me, just fun. And I said to him, that's something you should find as well, because everything we do has purpose. We work, we take care of the kids, we are renovating the castle. In our free time, especially him in the weekends, he does a lot of maintenance for the terrain. We have a big terrain. It's like 35,000 square meters. And the climate here is very good, so everything grows really fast. It's like I think you could sit down and watch the grass grow. And he does everything he can to maintain it, and that's often in the weekends. And it's just, there is so little time to spend on things that are just fun. And it blew my mind because it felt so good. I am so used to optimizing everything. And this is why I wanted to talk about it on the show. Because This is a show for mompreneurs who have little kids, who have businesses. And I just know that you are the same as I am. We're used to optimizing everything, making things run as efficiently as possible, find value in everything that we do. And very often our rest is scheduled with purpose because we know we need to rest sometime. So we actually plan it in our calendars. It's something I help my clients with in coaching sessions as well. Like, when are you resting? When are you having fun? Make time for it. Literally create time in your schedule to rest and have fun. So even the times that we're doing it, it's scheduled in a way to be optimized. And I just realized, well, fuck, that's insane. Actually, that's insane. And there was a second reason I was thinking about it, because yesterday I listened to a podcast with Kate Northrup, and she is all about feeling safe around money. And in order to be able to do that, you need to be able to regulate your nervous system. And she was talking about that. And I was thinking about what she said. And I realized that most of the time, my nervous system is on. Like, it's on all the time. And I had an epiphany. Let me think about this. Because most of the time, when we talk about regulating our nervous system, it's an activity. It still is. Like, it's breathing, it's meditating, it's going into nature. But the purpose of going into nature is to regulate your nervous system. So it's still useful to go into nature. It's still productive to go into nature. And I was just thinking about this yesterday, and I was like, how do I turn it off? Like, how do I turn my system off without adding an activity like breathwork or meditation? Because that's still an activity. You're still sitting there going, okay, I need to meditate now because I need to turn my nervous system off. And so I asked ChatGPT, like, how am I doing this? How do I turn it off without purposefully trying to turn it off? And, well, my ChatGPT is my friend. Like, they are cheering me on. So they were like, oh, this is such a good question. And I was like, yeah, I know. Because I think that if you are always in an on state, your nervous system is always on. For me, it means that there is no space for true play. I cannot play with my kids. I don't have the rest for it in my body. Like, my body, it makes me feel very uncomfortable when I'm playing with them, because in my mind, there's always a list running of things that I need to do. And I'm very consciously aware of the time that I'm playing with them. I could have also used to do X, Y, Z. And it might be something for the business. It might be something like, oh, I need to clean the kitchen. I need to do the laundry. I want to finish the renovations upstairs. Anything. But my mind is just screaming at me, like, the time you're spending here, you could be spending useful as well. And I think that when you are unable to play like that, to truly be in the moment and do something silly, do something that feels fun, I think that your body is maybe not feeling safe enough to turn off. There is something there. And I think that a lot of us do this. We get stuck in go mode. We always want to be going. There's always something to do. There's always something more productive to find. And this is a loop where if you then listen to the voice and start doing things again, you keep your nervous system on, and then there's no time to play, and there's no room to feel safe and to truly rest. And so we keep coming back to, so if I'm already in this state, I might as well tick something off of my list, because maybe if I tick enough stuff off my list, I will finally get to that relaxed state that I'm looking for. But the list is never done. The list is never ending. So then you get to the place where you're scheduling rest, because otherwise, well, you see where I'm going. It's just a big old loop of always staying on. And so I asked ChatGPT, how do I turn it off? I don't know. And I was looking at my kids at the same time because I would not expect them to be productive or useful all of the time. They're kids. I want them to have the time to play. Actually, a lot of the times, Juliet, she's turning 6 in May. She very often asks what it's like to be an adult, if it's fun to be an adult, because she really wants to be grown up. And I'm like, no, honey, you stay little because you have time to play. You have no responsibilities. You enjoy the fact that you're a kid and that enjoy your youth. Play. Don't look at the responsibilities that you are looking out to have. She thinks it's very important to have responsibilities. And I'm just pushing her to play and not be useful. I don't think people are designed to be productive 24/7. And I think it's very vital that we have fun without a purpose. And then I realized maybe she likes that so much, the idea of being a grown-up, because she sees me. She sees me being productive and useful all the time. And she's like, oh, I want to be like mom, which is a big compliment. So I think that I'm going to need to show her that moms can have fun as well and just sit there and relax for a bit. It's something that since we moved to France, we more purposefully started doing as well automatically, because we live in rural France, almost rural France. We're still next to a big city, but there's a lot of farmers around here. There's a lot of people with veggie gardens, people with houses that feel cold in the winter, people who go outside in the summer. We live according to the seasons around here. Wintertime is for resting, for hibernating a bit. We hardly see our friends in winter because everybody's just busy inside. They're either like renovating something or just cozying up next to a fire, hanging out with their families. And then in springtime, you see it happen around here as well. There's a lot of activities in small villages, from like little car shows to antique shopping markets and food markets, music festivals, but everything's tiny. Like every tiny village has like a tiny music festival. It's so cute. This starts up again in the springtime. People go outside. You see people tending to their gardens, starting their veggie gardens again. And then throughout the summer, it's the same thing. Everyone is really outgoing and it's a very busy season. A lot of our friends have holiday homes that they're renting out, so they have the peak of their businesses in the summer season. Same goes for all the markets, all the seasonal things. Most of the restaurants here are closed in wintertime and open in the summertime. So the summer season is really like a peak season around here. And then in the fall time, you see it moving backwards a little until you get to the rest period in the winter again. And I think it really, if you look at it closely, it stems from like early times, medieval times, where you had to do that because it was just too cold to be outside. And I think it's the way that people are designed. We are designed to have cycles of rest and productivity. And here we are using the internet. Look at me. I'm living in France. I have clients that are on either side of me, like globally. So I have clients that are 6 hours ahead and 6 hours behind or 9 hours behind. And I am very often doing mastermind meetings in the evenings, stuff like that, because they're in a different time zone than I am. And so the risk is there that I will accept a coaching client at 8 o'clock in the morning because for them that's a good time, because for them it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And still working at 8 o'clock in the evening because then my own things are happening over there in the United States. And where's the rest? I'm just trying to squeeze everything in between. We are all turned on by the internet. Not in a sexy way, but like we are on because we can be. And I think it's time that we give over to those cycles of rest as well and just stop shaming ourselves if you want to dance for a bit or just sit and doodle, color in your coloring book. And one of the things that ChatGPT gave me as one of the things to turn off your nervous system was lying in the grass. I was like, lying in the grass. the last time I remember that I was just lying somewhere it has to be like 10 years ago when we lived in Amsterdam and we had our boat. We very often went out to just, I don't know, go boating. And then we sometimes would just anchor the boat and just lie there on the deck and look at the clouds pass by. And I was like, gosh, that has to be like 10 years ago. I never lie in the glass. No, of course I never lie in the glass. Just the glass of my own imagination and wounds from the past. No, grass. I'm talking about grass here. When is the last time you did that? Just lie down and watch the clouds go by or the wind rustle the leaves. I don't do stuff like that unless it fits in with a goal. I am outside. I'm very often doing my dance classes outside because I want to enjoy the fresh air while also getting in shape. So here we are, tied back to a goal again. And that just, it blew my mind when I started thinking about how very little time I'm spending on fun for just fun's sake. And there it is. What if you turned it around? What if you realized that turning off your nervous system like that is actually the most healing thing you could do today? Was actually, and this is where it gets tricky, because if you start thinking about it like this, it's useful again. But what if resting, truly resting, doing something fun for fun's sake, but what if turning off your nervous system like that actually added to the overall productiveness? What if it helps you to come back to who you really are at your core, what your vision is like? And as I said, this is a slippery slope because now you're tying it back to being productive, being useful. And that's dangerous. But I feel for me that it's really helping, that I am happier when I do this. And when I'm happier, I am more energized. I took a little hiatus from the podcast for 2 weeks because I was so tired from life. I went to Holland for a weekend. My kid had a bad ear infection, so I slept with her for 2 nights. And so she slept and I didn't, because that's how it goes. And I was just like, oh, so low on energy and so... But my oldest, Juliet, she recently discovered Lego to play with. And I rediscovered how incredibly much I enjoy playing with Lego. And this is also something that I did, to just sit there and build a little pizzeria out of Legos. And I was like, oh, this is so fun. You just sit there and you find the right pieces and you build something and then you get to play with it. And it's not useful at all and it's not productive, but it's fun. And she really loves it. She asks us all the time if we come over to her to play with the Legos again. And I can see that this is such a good example for her. And it surprised me how relaxing it is. And I realized that for me, lying in the grass might be a step too far. But doing something mildly productive, like it's not productive. Building houses out of Lego is nowhere tied in with the vision I have for my company or something, you know? It's just, but maybe it is tied in with my vision for being a good mom, being with her, sitting next to each other and just doing something for fun. And also, I think this is a really important part, not to try to teach her anything in that moment, not to correct her or show her how something can be done or should be done, or just sitting there. She was building something, I was building something, and we were just playing alongside each other. And actually for the last week or so, she's gone to bed way too late because we were just sitting there playing with the Legos, and we're like, yeah, we'll get you to bed in a minute. I just need to finish this little wall. I need to find this little piece in the big box of Legos that we have. Also, very good. Something sensory, like twirling around in a bucket full of Legos trying to find the right piece. My kids have colored rice, like the dried colored rice that they can play with. And something like that is so soothing for your nervous system. Dried lentils, like a little bowl of dried lentils, and just sit there and let them fall through your hands. I don't know why, but it's just, it's the bomb. So yeah, I think that eventually doing something fun for fun's sake is the most healing thing that you can do for yourself right now, like in the moment. And then eventually this will help you so much in the long run. It regulates your nervous system. It boosts your creativity. Your brain gets better ideas when it's at ease, when you're feeling safe. I think that business-wise, slippery slope again, business-wise is good as well, because joy is contagious. I think that you become very magnetic towards your client when you are feeling good, when you're feeling safe, especially for people like me. And I think that for a lot of my clients as well, currently all my coaching clients are people who work with people. And so when I am feeling safe, I can transfer that onto my clients, who can then transfer it onto their clients, and we can just create a ripple of safeness, of joy, because I think it's contagious to have joy and to send that out into the universe as well. I think that alignment as well flows from safety. I think the choice to do something that aligns with who you are, with what your vision is, becomes much easier when you're feeling safe in your body. And then, of course, the example that I'm setting for my kids. I think that's one of the most important things that I'm doing here, to show them. I have 2 kids, but currently I'm just playing with the oldest right now, and she hasn't really gotten that example from me before. So just sitting there and doing stuff with her, showing her that life is about living and not just about having responsibilities and being useful and productive all the time. So yeah, that's amazing. Things you could do if you want to do it are things like lying in the grass or sitting somewhere, not falling asleep. That for me, that's a big thing, because very often when I try to rest, I just fall asleep. So make it so you can rest, but that it's uncomfortable enough to not fall asleep, and then just stare at a candle or at the wall or at the clouds passing by. The sensory activities that I just mentioned, my kids have that magnetic sand. It's amazing as well. I don't know, count flowers, color in a coloring book, whatever it is. Go horseback riding, do a sport that's not, the goal isn't to get into shape, just because you like it, because you're having fun with it. And yeah, it's going to help you so much. I just know it's gonna. So this week, I dare you to do something just for the hell of it. Not for your kids, not for your business, not for your future self, not for your vision, but just for you. If you need help with anything like this, I have created 3 short exercises that can help you figure out basically just where you can find more balance in your life, what's holding you back, and how you can sort of rearrange it so that naturally there is time that starts to open up for you to have fun. It's called Where the Fuck Do I Even Start? And if you'd like to do those exercises, I'll link them up for you in the show notes. You can grab them. I think it'll take you like 20 minutes. Grab a pen and paper, write some stuff down, and then it just becomes clear to you where you can get some space, make some fun. All right. Thank you so much for joining in today's episode. What am I saying? Thank you so much for listening. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you for listening to this episode. And I hope it helped you too, and that you'll be doing something fun this week. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Female Entrepreneurs Network podcast. I hope you loved what you heard today. And if you did, it would mean a world to me if you could leave a review. Because believe it or not, reviews on podcasts are actually still used to make sure more people get to see this podcast in their screens and maybe click on it and learn something as well. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.